So I've just been down to the old canoeing place, and I've just actually spoke to a gentleman down there, and unfortunately they don't allow solo canoeists, and the reason being is because their insurance doesn't actually cover it, and which I do understand. You know, if we do run into any sort of trouble and we capsize the sort of the boat, at least, you know, if there's two people, you know, you don't have to worry so much because there's always someone there to actually lend a hand. But when you go on your own, then it's a different story. You know, if I fall over and knock myself out, you know, there's no one there to actually drag me out of the water. So I suppose it can be life-threatening. He says that the only way that you can actually get round it, he says, if you've got your own kayak, he says, then you can actually just, you know, stick it in the water and just go where you want to. And the laws in England on the rivers, you don't actually need a permit or a license, which is quite nice. You do if you're actually using the canals, but if you go to Wales, then yeah, the laws are different. You will have to have a permit. So the only way that I can get round it is probably getting some sort of trailer or getting something fabricated for the truck, which I can actually get a canoe on. Then I could literally drop the canoe off at a certain point. Then I'd have to drive down to the exit point where I'll be canoeing to, and then literally maybe get a push bike so I can actually push bike back to where the canoe is, do the canoeing trip, and then obviously once you've got the car again, you can go pick the bike up. So that is the only way that I can actually do it. Around here and that, you can't really get taxis, you know, there's not too many about because you are more or less in the middle of nowhere all the time. But it's just one of those things. So I'm back to the drawing board at the moment, so I am going to look at some new canoes and things. He did actually ask me what sort of type I had, and mine is a wooden boat, and he did actually say, well, you're best off really with a fiberglass one. And he says, and the reason being is that in some places it is quite rocky, and he says the last thing you want is like a crack in your boat and then suddenly you get a leak in. He says, because then what do you do? So at least if you've got a fiberglass one, it's so much easier to patch up if you do get any sort of cracks and that. So yeah, we're back to the drawing board on that one. I'm not giving up on the idea because, like I say, I certainly want to start doing some training ready for my trip when I'm 50. But it just means that we're back to the drawing board. We'll have to see what happens, but still, it's a nice day. Let's carry on walking.